Chosen one, listen carefully. There's something inside you that darkness fears to touch, a hidden seal placed in your spirit before your first breath. That's why you've always felt watched. Not by people, but by forces that couldn't understand why they couldn't break you. You enter a room and the air changes. You speak and silence grows heavy. Even when you say nothing, heaven speaks through you. They don't fear what you've done. They fear what you carry. You've walked through storms that should have ended you, yet you're still standing, glowing where others faded. Every trial was an attempt to decode you. Every betrayal was meant to drain you. But your seal isn't written on your skin. It's written in your spirit, and every time they touch it, heaven strengthens it. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Before this message ends, you'll understand exactly why they fear you. You're about to discover the secret they've tried to bury since your birth. The secret that makes darkness tremble when you rise. Type, "I receive," in the comments as your act of faith. Now, let me show you why they fear what's sealed inside you. Heaven marked you before your enemies ever saw you. Long before you learned your name, a higher voice whispered it into eternity. When that name was spoken, light marked you, not on your skin, but within your spirit. You've felt it in moments you couldn't explain, when a room grew silent as you entered, when people looked at you with both awe and unease. It wasn't your face or words. It was the unseen mark announcing your presence. From your earliest days, something in you disturbed darkness. Even before you knew God, darkness knew you. Heaven had placed a divine pattern inside you that cannot be erased. You were never meant to blend in. You were designed to disrupt. That's why rejection came early and often. It wasn't bad luck, it was confirmation. Every no, every betrayal, every lonely season was heaven saying, "Not this door, not yet." The mark isolates, but that isolation is sacred. It's the cocoon where God builds the invisible. You've mistaken loneliness for abandonment, but heaven was hiding you where contamination couldn't reach. David knew that mark. Forgotten in the field while others stood before kings. He didn't fight to be seen, because he was already sealed. The oil didn't make him chosen. It revealed that he already was. You, too, were anointed before anyone saw your worth. You've asked, "Why do people leave when I open my heart?" Because some hearts can't carry the weight of your calling. Your presence confronts what's false. Your spirit exposes hidden motives. That's not arrogance. That's anointing. The unseen mark glows in spiritual realms. It declares to darkness, "This one belongs to heaven." That's why attacks come in patterns. Why envy follows you even in silence. Every realm recognizes what's been stamped by eternity. At night, when you feel unseen, that mark still burns bright, whispering horror. You are not forgotten. You've survived storms that broke others. You've endured betrayal and still love. That's evidence of the mark, a divine imprint no wound can erase. But the mark isn't the secret they fear. It's only the surface, a trace of something deeper. The mark hides the hidden seal, heaven's encryption that no darkness can decode. The mark identifies you. The seal empowers you. Every trial you faced was an attempt to find it, but they never could. Many tried to copy your tone, your flow, your grace, but they couldn't duplicate your authority, because the seal cannot be transferred. Pause for a moment. You can feel it, that warmth in your chest. That's the mark responding to truth. Your spirit is remembering what your soul forgot. Rejection wasn't your end, it was your encryption. Each wound sealed you deeper in divine protection. You're not walking alone, you're walking hidden. Now that you know the truth about your mark, it's time to see what it's been hiding. The reason your enemies whisper your name in fear. Chosen one. The enemy doesn't tremble at your name, he trembles at your sound. There's a rhythm inside you that hell can't imitate. You don't just exist, you resonate. Every prayer, every cry you've whispered in the dark has shaped a frequency that reaches heaven directly. That's why your life never fit the pattern of others. Where they found ease, you found resistance. Where they walked unnoticed, the air shifted when you entered. It's not charisma, it's resonance. There's a tone woven into your being, a sound that vibrates between heaven and earth. When you speak, something eternal moves through your words. That's your signature in the spirit realm. And that's what terrifies darkness. Pain has never been wasted in your life. It's heaven's tuning fork. Each heartbreak adjusted your pitch to match divine frequency. Every storm refined the resonance of your soul. When you prayed through exhaustion and still believed, heaven didn't just hear words, it heard your sound. And that sound became your authority. That's why the enemy doesn't steal your possessions. He targets your peace, because peace tunes your sound, and fear distorts it. As long as you're anxious, the melody is off-key. But when you rest in faith, your frequency aligns with heaven, and hell loses control. Haven't you felt the air shift when you worship, even alone? No stage, no crowd, yet the heaviness lifts. Because your sound carries light. You are heaven's echo on earth. Your sound doesn't just fill the air, it breaks it open. Moses had a staff, but his voice split seas. Joshua had an army, but their shout made walls fall. David had a sling, but his song silenced tormenting spirits. You carry that same authority. When you speak hope into despair or sing in pain, you send frequencies that break unseen chains. That's why your silence has been attacked. Every distraction, every sudden fear, is an attempt to quiet your spirit. Your sound is tied to the hidden seal. It's the seal that gives your words power. Without it, speech is noise. But when your seal resonates with heaven's frequency, even a whisper becomes a weapon. The hidden seal is a divine amplifier. It converts faith into vibration and vibration into manifestation. That's why when you say, "I still trust you," after pain, things begin to shift before you see them. It's also why certain people can't stay around you. Your presence exposes their dissonance. You carry harmony with heaven, and what's out of tune starts shaking when you speak. Doors closing, people drifting. It's not rejection anymore, it's resonance sorting. God is clearing static so your frequency can travel freely. The enemy floods your mind with noise, confusion, chaos, endless thought loops. Because if you ever stay quiet long enough to hear your true tone, you'll realize how powerful it is. Silence isn't emptiness, it's calibration. When you rest, your sound resets to heaven's pitch. That's why God sometimes pauses your life, not to punish, but to tune you. Many can mimic your language, but no one can copy your vibration. It's born from tears, not theory, from faith, not formula. That's why resistance rises when you step into purpose. Hell feels the wave before it hits. It knows that when your sound and your seal unite, you won't echo heaven. You'll speak as heaven. You're not searching for your voice. You're remembering it. Every time you choose peace over panic, faith over fear, forgiveness over vengeance, heaven vibrates through you and hell loses ground. Now understand this. The light you carry has stirred what darkness hoped would stay asleep. The battles you've faced lately aren't random. They're proof that your frequency has been heard. Chosen one. Silence has never been your enemy. It's been your sanctuary. The world calls it isolation, but heaven calls it encryption. There's a place where words stop working, and that's where God begins to speak. You've been in that place lately. No calls, no answers, no movement. Prayers that once burned like fire now fade into quiet air. But what if silence isn't absence? What if it's sealing? There are seasons when God hides his voice, not to punish, but to protect. Revelation must mature before release. If it comes too early, it's vulnerable. So he wraps it in silence until your spirit can carry it. Moses had 40 years in the wilderness. Joseph sat in prison with only dreams. Even Jesus lived 30 silent years before his ministry began. Silence is heaven's school, where power learns patience. In noise, you hear everything but yourself. In silence, you finally hear what's within. The chamber teaches you to recognize divine direction from emotional impulse. You thought stillness meant something was wrong, but heaven was encrypting you, writing codes of wisdom that no darkness could access. That pressure you feel, that suspension between what was and what's next, is transformation in progress. The seal within you is being recoded for your next dimension. The seal only opens in silence. When the noise stops, the codes unlock. That's why hell keeps you distracted, scrolling, comparing, because as long as your mind is loud, your spirit can't hear. But lately, you've felt it. That pull to withdraw, to slow down, to breathe deeper. That's not burnout, that's recalibration. Heaven is tuning you for precision. Remember Elijah? He looked for God in wind and fire, but the voice came in a whisper. God hides in what others overlook. Only those who wait can catch his frequency. Right before revelation, silence becomes almost unbearable. The final compression before expansion, the cocoon before the wings. That's where you are now. Be still, chosen one. The silence isn't punishment, it's prophecy. God is protecting the download from voices that would distort it. When the seal finally opens, you won't need confirmation. You'll know. Soon, you'll hear a sound in the silence, a hum that feels like truth. That's the seal unlocking. That's heaven saying, it's time. What the silence protected is now ready to be revealed. The mystery you've carried since birth, the energy that made darkness tremble, the code no enemy could decipher. It has a name. It's the hidden seal. You've felt it stirring, that pressure, that holy fire rising when truth hits your spirit. The seal is heaven's encryption, God's signature placed inside his chosen before time began. When the world sees you, it sees flesh and story, but heaven sees ownership, and hell sees a warning, untouchable. You were sealed with the Holy Spirit of promise, Ephesians 1:13. This isn't poetry, it's spiritual law. The seal confirms identity, activates protection, and grants authority. It's the invisible crown demons recognize even when you forget it's there. You've been through battles that should have destroyed you, yet you stand, not broken but refined. That's the seal working. Every time you almost gave up but couldn't, that was the seal holding you. Every moment peace returned after chaos, that was the seal restoring order. Because what God seals, he never unseals. The hidden seal isn't just defense, it's command. It's heaven's code that makes your words travel beyond the natural. When you speak healing, heaven hears itself through you. When you speak life, angels move, not because of your tone, but because your sound carries divine frequency. You thought you were surviving, but every survival was activation. Each loss pressed the seal deeper. Each tear made its light brighter. Each betrayal rewrote your soul with one truth. You are chosen, sealed, unstoppable. Now revelation becomes instruction. To carry the seal consciously means walking differently. You no longer react to fear. You command peace. You no longer chase validation. You radiate authority. You no longer beg for signs. You are the sign. Every chosen soul reaches this threshold, the moment faith turns into realization. You're not seeking identity anymore. You're enforcing it. The seal gives you license to operate in divine jurisdiction. You carry access while others chase ambition. That's why certain opportunities closed. They didn't match your frequency. When the seal awakens, the atmosphere rearranges to fit your purpose. Provision finds you. Alignment finds you. Even those who once ignored you will now see you differently. The hidden seal is not just protection from darkness. It's permission to command light, to decree, to release, to shift. When you speak in alignment with heaven, your words become law in the unseen. Say this in your spirit: I am sealed by the Spirit of the living God. I am hidden but not forgotten. I am chosen and cannot be replaced. Let that truth settle deep in your bones. Once you know it, nothing external can shake you. No opinion, no delay, no deception. You were never fighting for identity, you were fighting from it. You've carried heaven's attention all along, and now the seal has spoken. The silence has lifted. Revelation has arrived. Chosen one. This is the moment everything changes. The seal has been revealed. Now it must awaken. It doesn't awaken through emotion or effort. It awakens through remembrance. When you remember who you are, heaven remembers your sound. The seal inside you has been whispering your true name, not the one people gave you, but the one written in light. Every sudden burst of courage, every wave of peace from nowhere, every moment you believed again, that was the seal calling you awake. You thought it was adrenaline. It was activation. The awakening begins the moment you stop surviving, the moment you stop waiting for permission to shine, the moment you speak like one who's already approved. Hell fears that moment more than any weapon. You are the echo of his image, not a copy, but a continuation. When you speak truth, heaven's own frequency flows through you. When you choose forgiveness, chains break unseen. When you walk in peace, you legislate order in the spirit. The awakening doesn't make you louder, it makes you clearer. It doesn't make you visible, it makes you undeniable. Look around. The changes aren't chaos, they're synchronization. Heaven is rearranging everything to fit your new awareness. People leaving, redirections, closed doors. It's not rejection, it's realignment. You're stepping into places you once felt unqualified to enter. Doors that resisted you before now open, not because you forced them, but because they recognize your vibration. You no longer ask for entry, you carry authorization. This is your spiritual coronation, the moment the seal releases command through your voice. You've cried, you've endured, you've waited. Now authority returns. When you speak from identity, your words become decree. When you pray from peace, heaven responds instantly. When you walk in obedience, creation aligns. No longer a victim of cycles, no longer trapped in confusion. You are becoming what you were sent to be, a living revelation of divine ownership. People will sense it without knowing why. They'll feel peace when you stand near, truth when you speak, and fire in your love. That's the seal alive within you, no longer hidden, no longer dormant. You will dream again, but now your dreams will build something real. You will love again, but now your love will flow from wholeness. You will rise again, but now you'll know this isn't a comeback. It's confirmation. Say it within yourself, not as hope, but as truth. I am sealed. I am awake. I am the evidence of God's remembrance. From this day forward, walk as one who carries divine infrastructure. You are heaven's agent in human form. The same power that raised Christ now runs through you. So when fear returns, speak identity. When doubt knocks, release frequency. When opposition rises, remember the seal, because the seal remembers you. You are the storm hell can't predict. You are the light darkness can't comprehend. You are prophecy in motion, and when you fully awaken, you'll realize you were never waiting on God to move. God was waiting on you to remember. Chosen one. Now the mystery stands unveiled. The silence has spoken. The seal has awakened. And the secret that terrifies your enemies is finally revealed. They never feared your strength. They feared your remembrance. They never feared your rise. They feared your realization. Because when a chosen one remembers who they are, every false power loses its foundation. The true secret they tried to bury is this. You carry divine ownership sealed within you. You are not fighting for victory. You're enforcing heaven's decree. You are not reaching for light. You are the light sent into this generation. The war was never about your possessions or dreams. It was about your identity. Because identity governs authority. This is what terrifies them. They can't control someone who knows they're untouchable. They can't manipulate someone who has seen the blueprint of their own soul. They can't distract someone whose peace has become a weapon. When you awaken, you become unpredictable, and darkness can't survive unpredictability. You've been through fire, but it didn't burn you. It revealed you. You've been through loss, but it didn't break you. It refined you. You've walked through silence, but it didn't isolate you. It encrypted you. Every scar, every delay, every heartbreak, they weren't meant to destroy you. They were decoding you. Now the world will see what heaven always knew. Divine power can live in ordinary vessels. Light can move through human skin. Chosen doesn't mean perfect, it means preserved. You are heaven's answer in human form. The evidence that darkness never wins. You are the sound that breaks cycles, the presence that shifts atmospheres, the light that exposes deception. The revelation is simple yet eternal. The seal within you is not just proof of who you belong to, it's the instrument through which God moves on earth. When you forgive, heaven advances. When you speak, heaven echoes. When you love, heaven multiplies. And when you stand in peace, hell retreats. This is your transformation moment, where progress stops being measured in results and starts being measured in awareness. You no longer ask, "Will God show up?" You declare, "God is showing up through me." The old you waited for permission. The awakened you carries command. The old you prayed for breakthrough. The awakened you is the breakthrough. Now that you know, you move differently. You speak with clarity. You live with certainty. Your eyes see patterns, not problems. Your ears hear instruction, not noise. Your spirit feels alignment, not confusion. You are walking proof that prophecy breathes. And as heaven looks upon you, the same voice that marked you at birth now speaks again. Well done. The seal has held. The awakening is complete. Let this prayer rise from your spirit. Let light rise through my scars. Let the seal speak louder than fear. Let my presence carry peace. Let my life reveal heaven's design. You are no longer searching for meaning. You are the message. Every step you take carries divine instruction. Every breath you release is heaven breathing through you. And remember, the fear your enemies feel isn't about your power. It's about your permanence. You are sealed. You are awake. You are the eternal evidence of God's unshakable design. Type "I am sealed" in the comments as your declaration of faith. Let heaven echo your words, because somewhere, another chosen one is waiting to remember too. The seal is alive. The awakening is complete, and the revelation has spoken. You are what terrifies them.